All right, so this is going to be an interview session, and I'm going to ask you the questions, and you will answer as specifically and thoroughly as you can.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
All right, so let's start. First question. What is your name?
Jocelyn Cruz.
Okay, what grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
And what the math class that you're taking?
I'm taking integrated math too.
Nice. So what is your primary language at home?
English.
Okay. What is your current grade in your math class?
I have a C right now.
Is it a fair assessment of your math knowledge? Do you feel it's a fair grade for yourself? Why or why not?
No, because the grading scale is mainly based on tests, when I feel that it should be based on how hard you're working on it, how much time you're dedicating on the class and your assignments, rather than the actual just testing.
Oh, I see. I understand. So your whole grade is based on a test?
Yes.
Oh, I see. So, next question. When you don't understand the material in a math class, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel confused and very overwhelmed, and for the most part, frustrated.
Okay, so what do you think caused you to feel frustrated?
Not knowing the material, not understanding the lessons, and mostly just thinking that I understand the lessons, and then when the test comes, I'm not really sure what's going on in the test.
So, what makes you not understand the material?
Well, when the teacher doesn't go step by step on the examples, or when they rush the lessons, they just go quickly through it and not really explain in detail.
Oh, I understand. Okay. So, tell me about things that help you better understand a math lesson or things that did not help you. So, which one would you prefer to share? The ones that help you better understand a math lesson or the things that did not help you understand?
The things that help me.
Oh, okay, you go ahead.
So, for the most part, the things that help me are reviewing homework, notes, past tests, flashcards, study guides, reviewing lessons online, study groups.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. If you had a chance to tell a teacher what kind of review to do before a unit test, what would you suggest to the math teacher?
Reviewing um the main material, like the formulas, theorems, all the key points that's going to be in the test.
Anything further that you would like to, if you had a chance to tell your teacher, straightforward, hey, I would like to, know it in this format or this structure, would you consider, give any suggestions?
Making a study guide that just has pretty much all the stuff that's going to be in the test.
Let's see. Our next question. Tell me about your methods for studying for a math class, for a math test.
What I do is mostly just do flashcards with the math vocab. So, because if I don't understand the vocabulary, then I'm not going to understand the questions. Also, do the study guides that are given. I use Quizlet.
Oh, and what is Quizlet?
It's an app I have on my phone that I use that reviews all the theorems and formulas. I just use it as a way to memorize. Tutoring. I form study groups with my friends, and it's a lot easier.
Oh, I see. Was there a time you felt your methods really worked? You can give me an example.
Yes. When I review days prior to the exam, as opposed to just cram up the night before.
Oh, okay. Did it happen this past test, or this previous test, or it happened in past tests?
It's happened in previous tests. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you know it worked?
I received a pretty high grade.
What was that high grade?
Uh, B plus.
B plus. Okay. How did you feel like once you got that high grade?
It motivated me to continue to study days before the test and stop cramming the night before.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
From a scale 1 to 4, with 4 being the highest, how often do you participate in class discussions?
3.
3. All right. So, following from this question, give some examples when you felt comfortable sharing out loud to the whole class.
When I understand the lesson, when I see that I'm not having any trouble solving problems on my own, then I feel pretty comfortable and confident of having the correct answer.
Okay. What helps you like feel comfortable? Is it just the day or just yourself knowing the material, or is it a structure that you know that will make you kind of feel more comfortable, or what's an example that makes you feel comfortable sharing out loud?
Mostly it's just feeling confident about my answer and my knowledge on the topic.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Give some examples when you felt uncomfortable, so the opposite of sharing out loud to the whole class.
When I don't understand the material and I realize that my other peers do understand it.
And then how can you assume that others understand it and then that you cannot, or that you don't, or what's your conclusions based on it?
When I see that I'm the only one asking questions or they receive a higher test score than I did in the previous tests.
I see. But besides the test, like just sharing out loud to the whole class, what makes you feel uncomfortable? Just not knowing the material, or is there anything else?
Mostly not knowing the material.
Oh, okay. So tell me about a time you felt confused in a math lesson.
Mostly it's when my teachers rush through the lessons and don't give a very good explanation on the steps. And sometimes they skip the steps.
I see. What specifically made it confusing? Share any memory you have. Can you give us an example of a memory?
When my teachers have an accent, a very heavy accent, it's really hard to understand. As well as messy writing. It's really hard to understand the stuff they're writing when it's really messy. It's hard to distinguish the letters from numbers.
All right. And our next question. Tell me about a time you didn't feel confused in a math lesson. So the opposite. So what made you not feel confused and during a math lesson?
When I know the key points of the lesson, when I see that, when I reviewed my homework, when I did my homework and study guides and stuff like that, I see that I'm able to do it without asking for help or going back to my other notes or reviewing the textbook or asking for help from someone else.
Oh, okay. So, what specifically made it so helpful? Share any memory you have. Like you said, you ask other people for help, and what specifically helped you when you asked those people for help? So any memory, just a recent memory or a previous memory?
Being explained a question from a different person, it depends on how they explain it. Sometimes when I ask one of my friends or someone I know, that's not a teacher, it's a lot easier to understand because sometimes they use simpler terms than teachers do.
Oh, I see. All right, my last question. So now that you know your current grade, that it's a C that you shared, what are some methods or some new strategies or suggestions for yourself that you're going to do to improve your grade?
Mostly it's just start reviewing all my notes, doing all my homework, go to tutoring more often, and dedicating more time to the class.
Okay, then. Thank you. This finishes our interview, and I appreciate your time.